KUAM News Hotspot is brought to you by
Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Day and happy Tuesday, everybody. We are KUAM. You are Guam out there, all watching all over the world on YouTube, on Facebook Live, and on KUAM TV. We are glad to bring you today's news and views. Let's see what we got.
The menu, brought to you by King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and Ruby Tuesday Guam, home of the Fresh Garden Bar.
On your show today, a pair of Guamanians have been sentenced to life behind bars for the death of former mayor of Humatec, Daniel Sanchez. The woman wanted by the Guam Police Department has self-surrendered. Also, the 386 COVID-related fatality is confirmed to be a 6-month-old boy. And Dr. Bob Leon Guerrero will join us via the KUM News Zoom room a bit later, and we'll talk about vaccines for Guam's smallest residents. Well, on Monday afternoon in the courtroom of Judge Vern Perez, Joyner Scott Said and Rudy Ferger Canata were sentenced to life behind bars for the murder of the former mayor of Humatec, Daniel Canata Sanchez. Sked will also have to serve 2 decades consecutive additional to the life sentence for use of deadly weapons to kill Sanchez. The former mayor was stabbed with scissors and bludgeoned with a hammer, then padlocked in the residence of Canata and Sked. We, of course, reported that back in February, Sked was convicted for murder as a first-degree felony, second-degree aggravated assault, and a special allegation in the use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. Canata was convicted of murder as a first-degree felony in April. Under Guam law, Sked will be eligible for parole after serving 35 years behind bars, with Canata eligible after serving a decade and a half. Well, the woman wanted in for questioning since Friday regarding active criminal cases has been arrested. Cheryl Borja self-surrendered to the Central Precinct Command of GPD as a GPD release says she was charged with the following offenses: theft of a motor vehicle, theft of property certificate, license plate, forgery or fraud, forgery, and she was booked and confined at the Department of Corrections. A recent poll in political news released by an independent source and conducted by the Anthology Marketing Group out of the Aloha State of Hawaii shows that Governor Lou Leon Guerrero has a 16-point lead over her opponent, current Congressman Michael San Nicolas, in the Democratic primary gubernatorial race. The poll was conducted between August 4th and 8th. 52% of the respondents showed support for the incumbent, with 36% supporting San Nicolas. Reacting to the results, the congressman issued a statement in which he said, quote, "In every election we have been in, we were always polled to lose. The voters proved otherwise, and with that, we encourage everyone to come out and vote in this election once again." More Guam news in just a minute, but on the mainland with midterm elections 84 days away, House Republicans anticipating that they will be in control of the chamber next year are already taking steps to launch investigations into the DOJ, FBI, and the administration over the search of the former president's Florida home. Here's the very latest.
Mr. Olson, welcome. House Republicans on the Judiciary Committee, angry over the FBI search for President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home, have sent letters to the heads of the DOJ, FBI, and White House Chief of Staff asking that they preserve all records related to the search. In them, they accuse the Biden administration of weaponizing law enforcement resources against its political opponents.
You have here the Attorney General, who is going after the President Biden's political rival, whose own personal career was derailed on the way to the Supreme Court by Donald Trump himself.
The preservation of documents is what triggered the search of Trump's home in the first place. FBI agents seized 11 sets of classified documents from the former president's home, some of which were labeled top secret. But Trump lawyers certified in June that all classified material had been returned from the estate. Trump claims he declassified those materials before he took them to Florida.
The statutes the Justice Department are asserting in the search warrant don't even require that they still be classified. If they would be damaging to national security, it's a problem. It's a major problem.
Law enforcement sources tell CBS News that the most highly sensitive materials recovered from Mar-a-Lago likely contained information that could only be viewed in secure environments, as it probably dealt with intelligence gathering secrets. Concerns about retaliation from domestic violent extremists. A joint FBI and Department of Homeland Security bulletin warned of a plot to place a dirty bomb in front of FBI headquarters, as well as online posts calling for civil war and armed rebellion. The bulletin cited the attack from an armed man on the FBI office in Cincinnati.
Back to news here at home. A task force has been formed to help stem the tide of illegal Chinese nationals from the CNMI slipping into Guam by way of small boats. Governor Lulian Guerrero says they are mustering local law enforcement authorities to patrol Guam's coastal waters.
The first line of defense is out there, and if we can divert them back to Saipan before they even get on the shores, that's a one step.
She's been working with the Attorney General to determine which local statutes can be enforced against illegal entry.
For example, if they don't have a notice of arrival document, then they can be returned back. If they are violating safety issues with boating, then they can return that. They can be returned. If the operator doesn't have a license to operate the boat, then those are some of the local laws that we can use.
If they do manage to slip in, she said the local labor department can inspect and fine local businesses for hiring illegal workers. The task force also includes Guam Homeland Security, Customs, GPD, GFD, the Port Authority, and the Agriculture Department. Even so, GovGuam does not have the resources to continuously monitor our entire coastline, and so support is also being sought from federal enforcement agencies, the Coast Guard, and even the public.
We're asking the people that if they see any kind of suspicious activity to please let us know.
A local immigration attorney says the foreign nationals are trying to reach Guam for work and are emboldened by the lack of federal enforcement. And even the governor says she wants to strike the right balance in dealing with the illegal immigration.
If there is opportunities there for them to work here, because we do need construction workers and other workers in our community. If there's some way that we can merge it and balance it out for everybody to win in this situation, that would be the best resolution. And so we're still in discussions with the federal government on that issue.
For KUAM News, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
I've got some incredibly unfortunate news now, as the Joint Information Center last night reported the island's 386 COVID-related death, and the patient was a 6-month-old boy who was unvaccinated and pronounced dead on arrival at GMH on August 14th. The young boy tested positive for COVID that same day. 179 new COVID cases were also reported yesterday out of 3,800 specimens between the 13th and the 15th. Now, of those new cases, 13 were reported by the DOD, and there are 26 people hospitalized due to the virus, with 1 in the ICU, 1 being on a ventilator, and 2 being pediatric patients. 17 people have been admitted to GMH, with 9 at GRMC, and of those hospitalized, 17 are vaccinated, 7 are not, and 2 are ineligible to receive the shot. To date, there have been almost 57,000 officially reported cases of COVID-19 in our island community, with, as I said, 386 deaths. 1,786 of your fellow Guamanians are currently isolated. All right, everybody. Well, we are going to go to an interview in the KUAM News Zoom room where I sat down with our good friend Samantha Taitano. She is the executive director of the Manila organization, to talk to her about the name and what stands behind it for the new Micronesian Resource Center over in Tamuning. Here's that interview. All right, Hafaday, welcome back to the Hotspot, everybody. I have joining me right now the one and only Samantha Taitano. Of course, she is the executive director of the Manila organization. And Sam, first of all, welcome to the show. It's great to see you as always. But, you know, I know you gave us some time and we got an audience with you because the brand new Micronesia Resource Center has opened up in Tamuning, a fantastic facility. But the one thing that stuck out to me about the story, and the reason why I really wanted to get you on here, is the Learning Center now bears a very, very proud and name that is going to last forever. Of course, Edmund Wenger, a very, very dear friend of ours who was to us both and to many on the island, who left us way too soon. But now that wonderful facility allows his memory to live on forever. So maybe tell me, if you can, Sam, about how the decision to actually name the Resource Center after Ed. I mean, first of all, I think that's absolutely fitting.
Yes. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
I think really what it was shortly after his passing, the Learning Center was something that we were working on, and we knew we wanted to have as part of our facility. It had, you know, it was something that we were constantly talking about. It was more of just a space issue, right? We needed to have a large enough space where we would be able to have our office space and then also have that learning center space. And so We were able to expand a little bit shortly before he passed, and so we had already kind of been in the works. And just sort of immediately after he passed, it was clear to us that we wanted to honor him, and honor his legacy, the work that he had done within the community, the impact that he had made within the community through the Learning Center. So, it wasn't even really kind of a question. It was just sort of like, no, Ed had been working on us with this. He knew that this was going to be important for the community. We're going to honor him through this.
Mm-hmm. I know, because I had the very, very pleasure of maybe interviewing him a half dozen times over maybe like the last 4 or 5 years, for holidays, for, his work with the Micronesian community, for just his charitable works and his humanity. And in each one of those, I mean, his character, the personality of the man really shone through in being, ever humble, but very, very dedicated and tireless to making sure that, that there were resources for, for the people he represented. And he didn't just limit himself to one particular ethnic group. I mean, he fought for all people. And I think, the memories of him are, I know for us at KUAM, we're always going to remember someone who was very, very selfless and, like an amazing human being.
I know, it truly is. And when we had finally kind of put up his picture in the Learning Center, just, like having his like smile in there, and just like remembering all of the good times, the fun times, the hard times, and just all of the work that we've done together. It was just, it was truly like a wonderful moment. And his family was able to come by and sort of share in the opening of the Learning Center, and a lot of his friends also came through. And so it's been really nice to bring everyone back together and to sort of celebrate Ed.
Well, those of us who knew him, maybe tangentially, I mean, like I said, I was trying to share some of my own impressions and memories of him, but, as someone who worked as closely with him, can you describe for us, what was the nature of the partnership that the both of you came up with, and, like collaborating on ideas and really like, putting strategy from your mind onto paper, and then really executing on those plans, to do good work in the community?
So, I mean, the partnership has always been so wonderful, but one of the things that I really remember about Ed, and that he would kind of talk about with the caseworkers, is that we need people who aren't afraid to ruffle feathers when it comes to doing the right things, and of course that doesn't mean being disrespectful. Ed was extremely respectful, like you said. He was extremely humble, but he knew what was right, and he knew what he was sort of working towards and advocating for in the community. And he wasn't afraid to, ruffle those feathers, or to make a stand about the things that needed to change within the community, the things that were right within the community, the things that were wrong, things we needed to work on. So, he was a true advocate who was willing to like put his foot down about things, and to talk about things and make a stand. So that's one of the big things that I remember about Ed. And then with that, it was his kindness. He was so personable. He made friends with everybody. I mean, just like remembering his like big smile and like his laughter, like you couldn't help but like love this guy. He had such a big heart for the community. Yeah. And it wasn't just with our organization. He was tied into so many other organizations. He was huge into volleyball, like he brought that advocacy everywhere he went, and he made a point to like kind of promote all of those things through everything that he did, even like the paddling. Like, he was just such an active guy.
Yeah, even though his nature was like, as you said, I mean, he was a fighter, but he was like naturally soft-spoken. He was a funny dude too. I remember that. He had a great sense of humor.
Yes, he did. He had a great sense of humor. And he just had like these like really quick jokes. He was just extremely intelligent, extremely well spoken,
Yes.
and knowledgeable about a lot of things.
And can I ask you, Sam, because you said like, when you put the picture of him in the Learning Center, is the picture of him, because you could have depicted him in many different eras, during his wonderful life, which is far too short for sure. But did you have the beard? Does the picture of him
Yes.
show the beard? That beard
Yes, it
was
has
next level. I love the beard.
beautiful big like full beard, like that's the way that we remember him, the big smile and the big beard.
And that was part of his charm too. When he come in, I even asked him about that sometimes. I was like, nah, there's you and ZZ Top, and he goes, yeah, I've had to work in this, and you could have a conversation with Ed about anything, and it was like talking to a lifelong friend. I mean, that's the one thing that I'll always remember about him. He gave someone like me that just wanted to ask him about his work. And you come into like a TV studio, and it can be, I get it, it can be a little bit intimidating because there's lights and there's a whole bunch of people running all over the place, like really trying to rush you and everything. But I mean, the man was as cool as a cucumber, but like you said, really, really focused on the mission that he set for himself, that really what he wanted to get done.
Yes. And even if he like had any nerves about anything, they like quickly kind of brushed off, and then you just got like, the good-natured guy that he is.
Mm-hmm. And I ask you, Sam, because I think it's absolutely, again, justified and so righteous that the Learning Center itself be named in his honor, because that was a big part of himself. And you said, very, very well read, incredibly intelligent, unbelievably well spoken. I mean, like obviously fun to interact with and everything. And you could have said, okay, we're gonna name the server room after Ed, or or the lounge or something like that. Why did you pick the Learning Center specifically?
It just really because it was what we had been working on most like previously, and he was just like really passionate about making it a reality. And like he was sort of like the driving force behind like, okay, like yeah, like let's get this learning center together, and whenever we would talk, like we always are like, yes, like we're gonna make it happen, right? So like everything it's not like, oh, if we can, it's like we're going to. There's no question about, if it's always, we're going to do it, we're going to make the learning center happen. The timeline, we don't always have necessarily a timeline, but we always knew like this is going to happen. And so, and just being able to honor him through it, and as being a place where anybody from the community who's a client of ours can kind of come in and get like that individual learning. It's really kind of goes back to giving people the tools to empower themselves. And I think that's a big part about what Ed wanted to see with the community. Which is exactly what he was all about. Okay. Let's wrap up, Sam, by let me just ask you again about your friend and someone who knew him probably far closer than most of us, ever did. When you finally saw, because you've been working on this project, for the Resource Center for like a very, very long time. And when you obviously, like, as the executive director, you sign off on all the big decisions. But when that sign was raised up and it said the Edmund Wenger Learning Resource Center, and you actually saw it there tangibly, and physically, what did that mean for you? It just means so much. Like my heart is so full. The way that we were able to really put the Learning Center together was thanks to a lot of donations from the community. So it was not only donations from organizations and companies, but we got individual donations from people. So people who wanted to support the creation of this Learning Center, people who also wanted to honor Ed and his legacy. And so actually being able to have, like, we have a beautiful donor wall that's up in the Learning Center, and it's a huge breadfruit tree. And so we have like the different kinds of donors. So we have like our root donor, which is Matson, and then we have our bark donors, which are just like a lot of like individuals who wanted to contribute. We have our breadfruit donors, and then we have our leaf donors. And so we have individuals, and then we also have Bank of Guam. And so just seeing this like beautiful tree and like Ed's name, and then we have like a little section that talks about Ed, and we have Ed's picture up there, like just seeing it all come together, it's so beautiful. And it's so like heartwarming to know like there's so many people in the community who are invested and who care about other people in the community succeeding and being able to provide them those tools to succeed. And so now that we're able to finally open it, we're so happy. It means that people are going to be able to come in here, and we're going to be able to increase the impact, and that Ed is still a huge part of our organization and making that happen.
Absolutely. And the work that he did and what he stood for and the man that he was, all of those things are going to stand the test of time because now, the Resource Center forever bears his name. And that's a very, very proud name. So job well done, Sam. And congratulations once again on opening the Resource Center. We'll be visiting you a bunch because you guys are doing amazing work.
Thank you so much. And also just like a big shout out to my team, because you're right, I sign up on the paperwork, but they truly make the work happen. So, shout out to them for all of the hard work that they did to make the opening happen and the work that we continue to do in the community.
All right. Well, that's Samantha Taitano, the executive director of Manialo. Go check them out at the Micronesia Resource Center, everybody. They are into mooning. They are ready to help you out. And, consider volunteering with Sam's wonderful organization too. If you're a student, if you're a church group and everything, it is going to be amazing work. And again, you'll get to find out about the legacy of Edwin Wenger, a dear, dear friend to all of us on Guam. So Sam, thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're back with more HotSpot right after this, everybody.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Got a question about your finances? You've come to the right place. Bring all your accounts together, even those that aren't with us, and see the big picture, right down to the smallest detail. Unlock powerful tools like Insights and Money Map that help you save time and take control of your finances. When you connect accounts with the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, it all starts with yes.
The KUAM Care Force, along with partners Guam Animals in Need and the Boonifly Project, are asking you to join NBC Universal in their nationwide effort to clear the shelters this August. We're encouraging our community to get involved, donate to these organizations, and adopt and foster pets to help our growing stray animal population on Guam. For the 8th consecutive year, NBC is raising awareness and funds in their local communities to support animal welfare. Since its inception in 2015, Clear the Shelters has helped more than 700,000 pets find new homes. Join us all August long for live reports on KUAM News Hotspot and Primetime, special news series, My Pet Story, a weekly series on KUAM Digital showcasing heartwarming stories of pets who found loving homes. Weekly posts on KUAM social media platforms featuring pets in need of homes. Let's do our part to clear the shelters and support animals in need.
As the Decision 2022 race shapes up, keep it with KUAM News for all the news you need to know as you head to the polls. From weekly candidate profile analysis on the hub on KUAM News Hotspot to our online candidate directory on KUAM.com, special features on KUAM Digital and KUAM News Primetime, plus live coverage of forums and debates. We're your one-stop source on every platform. Stay informed with KUAM News, your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
Lunches, snacks, we got diapers for baby girl. Oh, 7:15, we gotta go. Bread, milk, gas for work. Remember to grab Joe Boy a birthday present. Half a day.
Hey, Molly, how much do you pay for daycare for the kids?
Over $600 a month. It's expensive.
Did you hear about the governor's program that covers up to $675 a month for childcare?
Wow, that would be a lifesaver with the rising cost of everything.
Check guamchildcare.com to apply. We qualified. I even booked an appointment for someone to walk me through the process.
guamchildcare.com. Okay, thanks. I'll apply today.
This ad is paid for with federal funds administered by DPHSS.
With Pacific Points, your everyday expenses could be helping you save. Earn points at Shell, Foodies Guam, and IT&E. Then redeem for awesome rewards. Want free fuel from Shell or snacks from Foodies Guam? What about discounts on your IT&E bill, free IT&E prepaid cards, or United Mileage Plus miles? Sign up for free today. Visit PacificPoints.com or download the app. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
KUAM News, winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
All right, my friends, welcome back to the Hotspot. On Saturday, a back-to-school community event is going to be held at the Center Court over at the Micronesia Mall, right up the street from us here in Derido, where parents can also learn more about Programang Pinilian. Joining us now is our Daniel Perez, who has Representative Pinky Lujan standing by. So let's go to the Micronesia Mall, my former stomping grounds. Love the mall, and Daniel is standing by right there. Half a day, Daniel.
Half a day, everybody, coming to you live from the Micronesia Mall. I am joined by Miss Pinky Lujan. She is with Gira, and she is here to talk about the Programang Ipinilan Ifamagoan. But before we get to that, they are actually having an event here this coming Saturday. So, Ms. Lujan, could you just explain what wonderful things you guys have planned this coming Saturday?
Awesome, but you gotta call me Pinky. Miss Lujan, you're making me feel old. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we wanted to invite everyone down here to the Micronesia Mall this Saturday, the 20th of August, and it's from 11 in the morning because that's when the mall opens. I was just harassing the mall saying, you guys gotta open earlier, right? Anyways, 11 in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we're going to have lots of prize giveaways, and we have entertainment by Skip. Skip's going to come on first about 11:30 in the morning. We have a special guest appearance. Actually, we have several special guest appearances, so I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag and say who's coming to say hello to us. Around 1:30 in the afternoon, you want to make sure you come here, have some lunch, take a stroll around the mall and get some cardio, and then come and visit all the different booths that are going to be here at the mall. So we're again promoting Programang Ipinilan Ifamagoan. Dude, you did a great job announcing it. So anyways, we'll be here this Saturday at 11 in the morning. We'll have a couple of CCDF certified daycare providers. We're going to have the daycare centers here, but we're also, the reason why Skip and Talent Box, Swan Ballet, some of the other extracurricular companies are going to be here, because the extended grant program, or the extended voucher program, the block grant program, which is the governor's program, is also opening up to not only daycare facilities, meaning the governor's program is not just going to pay for that, but it can also avail of sending your kids to after-school programs like Skip, or educational programs like Junior Achievement, or even a taekwondo class, a special ed class, because the programs are covered all the way to age 18 for children with special needs. So come on down and check it out.
So, of course, Pinky, there is an eligibility criteria. Could you just share what it is and up to what age that this goes through for the kids who are deemed eligible?
Yes, so log on, you can visit guamchildcare.com to check out the eligibility. But basically, we tripled the income threshold. So, for example, a family of 4, including the kids, if you make less than $92,000 a year, then you qualify for this program. But what a lot of people don't know also, and the age is 0 to 13, again, all the way to age 18 if you have children with special needs. But like I said, it also is available not only to pay for your daycare services, but you can also send your children to after-school programs, community care programs at your local mayor's office, because many of the mayor's offices are going to, the villages are also going to roll out new after-school programs, sports camps, especially for the holidays, upcoming holidays, and so on and so forth. So when you go to guamchildcare.com, you apply for the extended block program, and then if you qualify, these vouchers automatically cover up to $675 of programs, including daycare, self-defense classes, art classes, performing arts classes, dance classes, you name it. And if you're wondering if your organization is covered, just log on to, again, guamchildcare.com, and you will see the list of all of these establishments that are accepting these vouchers for after-school programs and daycare programs. Did I answer your question?
Yes, that's totally answered everything. Well, parents, guardians, if you are interested in having your kids learn something new, from the arts to self-defense, or just, you just want them out of the house, basically, to learn new things, not just to kick back and just be on their phones all day. This is your chance to totally do it. And Pinky, I just got to ask, because the event that's happening on Saturday, one of the giveaways is a $100 gas card. Do you have anything more that's planned for those prizes?
Well, every hour we are giving away goodie bags. We have these Guam Childcare Go Green bags. We have Programa ni Pinilan t-shirts for kids. We also have, and we are going to give away gas cards every hour as well. We have these beach mats that I just gave him one. So we have beach mats. You're also going to be available. You're going to be able to also discuss, because the technical professionals from public health will be here. So if you have questions related to the block grant itself, we also have, as we speak today at 10 a.m., I'd like to do a shout out because we have our second cohort, our second graduating class, also covered by this program, the Programa ni Pinilan program, where we send people who are interested in a career in childcare. We are paying, this program pays for their education at GCC, which was a little over a month and a half, learning how to care for children. And then it also covered 2 months of on-the-job training. So it was a 3-month program. We're targeting over 100 students, and we're very proud of these graduates who are literally graduating today. And then we have, stay tuned, because at 3 o'clock today, we are announcing another program called Relative Care. And again, you got to stay tuned for 3 o'clock because we are announcing the Relative Care program, which is part of the governor's program. So there's actually 6 programs. So we're talking a lot about the block care, the block grant program. This is where you log on to guamchildcare.com and you apply. Also, I have to mention, if you're an essential worker, you automatically qualify regardless of your income threshold. So just apply. If you've applied for the block grant in the past, before April of this year, apply again, because you may have been deemed ineligible in the past, but like I said, we tripled the income threshold. Essential workers are automatically eligible for the program, and it's extended, meaning it's not just for daycare, but it's also for after-school programs. So that's the first program. The 2 programs, GITA. Now, with GITA, this program is actually operated by Department of Public Health and Social Services. But GITA is on board to assist and also roll out some grant funding. So the first grant cycle was closed, and we just opened up a new grant cycle. And this is available for after-school providers. So non-school providers that are offering performing arts programs, sports camps, again, martial arts studios. Now you can apply on investguam.com and apply up to $50,000 worth of grants, but that window closes this month on August 25th. So I strongly urge all of you organizations that are offering childcare programs to log on to investguam.com and check out these opportunities, and you only have a few more, literally I think 9 days before the grant cycle closes.
All right. Once again, Ms. Pinky Lujan from GITA. Don't forget, guys, check out guamchildcare.com for more info on this program, and drop by this Saturday at the Micronesia Mall for what they have planned. And Jason, that was a lot of info, but back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Daniel. Reporting, of course, live from the Micronesia Mall. Daniel, please stop by the Hawaiian barbecue place and bring back some chow for the crew. All right, thanks so much for that. All right, please stay tuned, because coming up next, an interview I really want everybody to see, and please take to heart, because I will be talking with Dr. Bob Leon Guerrero about why it is critical, imperative that each of us has to get kids on Guam vaccinated. Please stay tuned for that. That's coming up next.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
There's epic, then there's ultra epic. Capture life in vivid resolution with Galaxy's most advanced camera system and the built-in S Pen that puts you in control. Every moment, every angle, from sunrise to sundown and beyond. More striking, more stunning than ever. Find the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra at your nearest iTunes store or online at ite.net and change the way you work in.
Lunches. Snacks. We got diapers for baby girl. Oh, 7:15, we gotta go. Bread, milk. Gas for work. Remember to grab Joe Boy a birthday present. Half a day.
Hey, Molly, how much do you pay for daycare for the kids?
Over $600 a month. It's expensive.
Did you hear about the governor's program that covers up to $675 a month for childcare?
Wow, that would be a lifesaver with the rising costs of everything.
Check GuamChildcare.com to apply. We qualified. I even booked an appointment for someone to walk me through the process.
GuamChildcare.com. Okay, thanks. I'll apply today.
This ad is paid for with federal funds administered by DPHSS.
Say hello to the first Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Want a better look at your spending? With MoneyMap, you can automatically create budgets and manage where your money is going. Know when you have a green light, or when it's time to slow down. Maybe cook more meals at home this week. Set your goals, track your progress, and find your way to exactly where you want to be. With MoneyMap from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. It all starts with yes.
This year, we're expanding our Decision 2022 platform to include comprehensive coverage of the election in the Northern Marianas. Stay with KUAM News for candidate conversations on Pacific matters, interviews with the gubernatorial teams, coverage of debates and forums, and live coverage on the general election night. We're your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
The KUAM Care Force, along with partners Guam Animals in Need and the Booneyfly Project, are asking you to join NBC Universal in their nationwide effort to clear the shelters this August. We're encouraging our community to get involved, donate to these organizations, and adopt and foster pets to help our growing stray animal population on Guam. For the 8th consecutive year, NBC is raising awareness and funds in their local communities to support animal welfare. Since its inception in 2015, Clear the Shelters has helped more than 700,000 pets find new homes. Join us all August long for live reports on KUAM News HotSpot and Primetime, special news series, My Pet's Story, a weekly series on KUAM Digital showcasing heartwarming stories of pets who found loving homes, weekly posts on KUAM social media platforms featuring pets in need of homes. Let's do our part to clear the shelters and support animals in need.
Pacific Points is more rewarding with friends. Refer as many friends as you want. There's no limit. Referring friends is fast and easy. Simply log into your account on the app or website, then tap or click on Refer a Friend. Earn bonus points when they sign up and make a transaction. Earn 100 bonus points for every friend you refer. Pacific Points. Refer friends, get rewarded.
Subscribe to our KUAM News Digest, our weekly email newsletter with all kinds of information straight to your inbox. Just subscribe and we'll make sure to keep you informed and entertained with news from the KUAM News team, what to watch on NBC and CBS, and the latest promotions from KUAM Communications. Go to KUAM.com, click on the newsletter tab at the top of the homepage, register, and you're all set. Brought to you by Uno Go, Guam on Demand.
All right, my friends, welcome back to the Hotspot. Now, of course, last night we reported the unbelievably tragic news of our island's 386th COVID-related fatality, which was a 6-month-old baby boy. Now, here to talk about the importance of vaccines for young Guamanians, for children, who better than Dr. Bob Leon Guerrero? He is, of course, the interim Chief Medical Officer over at the Department of Public Health. Doc, welcome to the show, and it's so good to have you here, because I can think of nobody better that when we deal with this topic and we really want to get the information out to let every single Guamanian know that the vaccines are available for kids. You're the perfect person to champion that cause. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for that. But you forgot to add that I'm also a pediatrician at Department of Public Health. So yeah, yep. I deal a lot with kids.
Okay, since the news was first distributed, Doctor, are we seeing like a great deal of foot traffic for people bringing in, children over the age of 6? And are we seeing like the number of youngsters getting vaccinated skew a little bit more on the younger side?
Since the news of the death? No, because the death just occurred yesterday, I think.
Oh, no, I mean, since the news of that young children could be vaccinated, because I know it came out a few days ago.
No, actually it came out about a month ago.
Okay.
And the amount of people taking advantage of that was, it was like, of all the kids that were 6 months to 4 years, maybe about 0.01% got vaccinated. It's been in the last week, I think, is that when we started seeing more people bringing in their 6 months olds. And part of that's due to the messaging. I don't know if you know who Dr. and Dr. Del Rosario. They have a 7-month-old, at the time, 7-month-old child, and sure. He got his first vaccine. And in fact, on Saturday when we had the vaccination clinic for the young kids, they brought in their child again to get the second dose. So they put out a PSA, and I think we see more foot traffic in this past week. I'd like to see more. I like the way Dr. David put it, because I like Star Trek. She says, when the shields are up, it defends the ship much better. And shields include masking, social distancing, washing hands, vaccinations and testing and treatment for if you do have it. But if you're lacking in one, then your shields don't work as well. And we do have a problem with COVID. COVID's here to stay. It just likes us too much. And it finds ways of getting around the antibodies that are produced when we get infected or get vaccinated. It used to be that 3 months, you're pretty much safe that you're not going to get sick again if you got COVID. Now it's more like 4 weeks with the new variants.
Mm-hmm. Now, Doc, is there any difference, I know, with the mechanics of how the vaccines, the time between vaccines, because like you said, it's I know for the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines are both available for children 6 months old and older. But I know for fully grown adults like us, you would get one shot and then you would wait 3 weeks and get like another shot. The range between when you get shot 1 and shot 2 is a little bit different for little kids, right?
Well, okay, so the 6 month old to 4 year olds, if you get the Moderna, it's basically the same. Okay. And it's 4 weeks apart. The Pfizer, on the other hand, what they did was they lowered the dosage, so less problems with side effects. So theirs is a 3-shot primary series. So they get one, 3 weeks later get another, and 2 weeks later get their third dose. So it's the primary series for them is 3 shots. It's not, so the third shot's not a booster. It's just part of the primary series for the Pfizer.
Mm-hmm. And approximately how many young children, now, given that the fact that the age range has now been so dramatically reduced again, so 6 months and older, how many Guamanians does that approximately cover?
I think, I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think it's around somewhere between 6,000 and 10,000.
Mm-hmm. So that is very, very significant, especially given the fact that that kids across different ages are now back in school.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. What are the most typical questions, Dr. Bob, that tend to bubble up when either when people contact you or contact your colleagues and they say, I've got a young child, I believe in the vaccine, I want to get them vaccinated. What are the most common questions so that hopefully we can address them here and, just like allay any concerns that parents may have?
Well, first of all, the most common question I get is, you mean we have a shot for that age? because a lot of people don't really know that the shot's available for kids 6 months and above. So after we get through saying, yes, there is the shots and yes, and I basically tell them, they're worried about side effects. And I tell, these guys get numerous shots in the first year of life. And we always tell them there's going to be side effects. Most of them are mild, pain, obviously, swelling where the shot's given, and crankiness and fever later on the night before. But for kids, they tend to tolerate the vaccine fairly well. I haven't heard too many serious complications or any bad complications with the vaccine for kids 6 months. Granted, the amount of kids that are getting it is low. So, but yeah, they seem to tolerate it fairly well.
So, and when kids come in themselves, is it more the kids are hesitant, or is it more like what their parents are just kind of concerned about? What might this do to my child? Like, because from what I've been hearing, kids are tough. Yeah, and any shots for that matter, kids are afraid of. Okay, because they don't like who likes pain. So they're hesitant about it, but that's with all the shots that are available. The parents, they think, and one of the other thing that they ask is, well, do kids get serious complications with the COVID? And I go, you're absolutely right. Most kids don't have a problem with COVID. They either have mild or no symptoms at all. The problem is that then, most of these houses on Guam are multi-generational. You have the kids, the parents, grandparents, and sometimes even the great-grandparents. And, grandma and granddad are not going to say, stay away from me to the child because you might have asymptomatic COVID. I mean, these guys smother their grands, and that's just typical of life around here. They show a lot of love to their grands. And so if they have COVID, it's easy for them to spread. And that's the one thing I really push, because until recently, the youngest person to die from COVID was a 10-year-old. Right. The 6-month-old was, and I'm not too sure yet what's the outcome. All I know is that this kid presented to the emergency room with no pulse and no breathing. And they worked on this child for, I think, a good 2 to 3 hours. And then they, while they're doing this, every person coming to the ER, they swab. And that's when they found out the child was COVID positive, only after they started the CPR and stuff. So obviously that child's going to probably get a autopsy done to see if in fact it was due to viral disease or maybe something else. But we do also have a kid that was in the Peds ICU in the past 3 days, who was only 3 weeks old. That only symptom that child had was turning blue. And you can imagine a parent seeing their child turn blue, not breathing. Right. I think this child had about 6 or 7 episodes. The first 4 were outside the hospital, and the next 3 were while inside the hospital, and including the Peds ICU. So that one, the only thing that was positive was the COVID testing. Everything else didn't have a seizure disorder. The EEG was negative. The CT, the head ultrasound were all negative. So the only thing we could contribute this to is COVID, because young kids sometimes have what they call central hypoventilation syndrome of any typical virus, not just COVID, but any virus where they just don't breathe. Their brain somehow forgets that they need to breathe to survive. And so they turn blue until you stimulate them. So whether that happened to that 6-month-old, I don't know. But, when I first heard about it, I was taken aback by it because, like I said, the previous one was a 10-year-old who had multiple medical problems. Right. I don't know the medical history on this 6-month-old. I don't know if he's up to date with shots. I don't know if he was seen at clinics. All I know is that he presented to the ER pulseless and breathless. I remember, Dr. Bob, I believe it was maybe several months when the pandemic really first started here on Guam, when I believe it was a 13-year-old who passed away from COVID. Then it was a 10-year-old several months later, and now a 6-month-old baby. Is unbelievably tragic. And since you brought it up, we were reporting earlier that as of last night's Joint Information Center report, there are 2 Guamanians that were admitted that are pediatric cases. So again, to the family, we at KUAM would like to extend our deepest sympathies and our prayers to the family of the 6-month-old that was reported that had passed away from COVID yesterday. Doc, I did want to ask you something for parents that do, and parents and guardians, I might say, that make the choice to get their youngsters vaccinated. Is there anything as far as deciding between either Moderna or Pfizer, or say like the parents have both received Moderna and their symptoms were either mild to none? If they have had a fairly mild response to that, should they opt for the vaccine that they received for their child? Like, is there anything like as far as relatives being a little bit more handling the vaccine better, or should they basically just like choose whatever feels better?
I mean, if you feel comfortable with the Moderna, or if you feel comfortable with the Pfizer, obviously that I would recommend getting the ones that make you more comfortable. I would tell them that with the Pfizer for the 6-month and 4-year-olds, it's a 3-shot series, and with the Moderna, it's a 2-shot series. And the reason being is that it's a little bit more medication in the Moderna, so there might be a slight higher risk of side effects, but it's so minimal. It's whatever you feel comfortable with.
And so hopefully, perhaps if youngsters should receive the vaccine, like maybe on cases where their arm's a little bit more sore, they experience a very, very temporary fever, they might miss maybe a day of school. But I know that's a concern, but we've been saying, for the last 2 years and everything, I guess, the perfect attendance ambition is pretty much like right out the window right now. And it is going to be for the foreseeable future, because like you said, COVID is here to stay.
Yeah. I mean, from what I heard from parents when they talk to me, most of them say that they're fine. They don't even have to miss school if they attend school. Dr. Alma and Dr. Del Rosario actually did a YouTube video showing him and how he reacted for the next half hour, and they said it was fine, no problems. He did the first shot. He didn't even cry. So yeah.
And I really would encourage everybody, please go out and the video that Dr. Bob is referring to, of course, with Dr. Michael and Dr. Amanda Del Rosario, their infant receiving the shot. It's on the governor's Facebook page, facebook.com/govluguam. And if you watch it, I mean, these are 2 board certified pediatricians themselves, but they're also a new mom and dad. So, I mean, they're experiencing the exact same concerns and maybe anxiety that you did, but I mean, they also believe in the vaccine. So, Dr. Bob, I'd like to give you maybe like one final push to all Guamanians watching this right now, near and far, about why it is so imperative that now that the age has been lowered for kids to get the vaccine, why it's so critical that they do so.
So they may not get as many serious complications, but it can occur. Like I said, we had that 6-month-old and then the 3-week-old. And last year we had some preteens come in with the multi-inflammatory syndrome. And if we didn't have the right medications, those 3 may have also expired. The first one, which we never saw before, we were lucky we had some of the medications available that otherwise that person may not have survived. And if you talk to the parents of those 3 kids, they were on pins and needles wearing for at least about 3 or 4 days. So it does occur, but it's rare. The other main thing is please get your kids vaccinated so they don't spread it. They don't miss as much school. And, school is very, very important, as we realized after the initial first year of COVID, where kids were doing online, and it was not as good as being there with your teacher and your classmates. So yes, please get the shots. You can get for those 6 months and 4-year-olds, you can get it at Public Health in Dedido, Monday to Friday, 9 to 4, Monday to Thursday, not on Friday, but then Saturday, 9 to 11. And then you can get it also down in South by appointment. So yeah, and then the older kids probably can get it at their clinics that they normally are seen at.
Right. Well, of course, that's Dr. Bob Leon Guerrero, the interim chief medical officer over there at the Department of Public Health. No one knows better than Dr. Bob about why the vaccine for young people are so important. Doc, before I let you go, I want to say you are the Guam physician who, with all respect to all of your colleagues, fellow physicians, pharmacists, nurses, you've probably be the medical professional with the best virtual background. I've been meaning to ask you this for the last 2 years. Where exactly is that virtual background, Doc? Where is that?
Outside my house.
Okay, that works.
Yeah. So off to my right, my left is Alupad Island.
Oh, okay, right over there near like what they also call like Sleepy Lagoon.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
very nice part of the island. So, Doc, thank you for sharing the sunset with us, or the sunrise, but more importantly, thank you for sharing the information and the encouragement and the peace of mind with us and everybody watching right now about why it's important that we vaccinate our young ones. Thank you, Doc. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. And again, please, for those that haven't heard the message, because I keep repeating it over and over again, wash your hands, social distance, wear a mask. The mask mandate is gone, but that doesn't necessarily mean not to wear a mask. This is just, we don't want to force people so much as try to have them use their brains to realize that it's important to that. Get vaccinated if you can, and if you got vaccinated, get boosted if you can. And if you're sick, see your doc so that they can check and see if this is in fact COVID. And especially for those in the 50 and over, they can get the monoclonal antibodies or the antiviral pills. So please just follow those.
Our doctor's orders, and thank you for the info and the encouragement once again. Can do, will, Doc. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Adios.
Doc. All right, please stay tuned because the hotspot will wrap up when we return right after this.
The KUAM Care Force, along with partners Guam Animals in Need and the Booneyfly Project, are asking you to join NBC Universal in their nationwide effort to clear the shelters this August. We're encouraging our community to get involved, donate to these organizations, and adopt and foster pets to help our growing stray animal population on Guam. For the 8th consecutive year, NBC is raising awareness and funds in their local communities to support animal welfare. Since its inception in 2015, Clear the Shelters has helped more than 700,000 pets find new homes. Join us all August long for live reports on KUAM News Hotspot and Primetime, special news series, My Pet's Story, a weekly series on KUAM Digital showcasing heartwarming stories of pets who found loving homes, weekly posts on KUAM social media platforms featuring pets in need of homes. Let's do our part to clear the shelters and support animals in need.
This year, we're expanding our Decision 2022 platform to include comprehensive coverage of the election in the Northern Marianas. Stay with KUAM News for candidate conversations on Pacific matters, interviews with the gubernatorial teams, coverage of debates and forums, and live coverage on the general election night. We're your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Want a better look at your spending? With Money Map, you can automatically create budgets and manage where your money is going. Know when you have a green light, or when it's time to slow down. Maybe cook more meals at home this week. Set your goals, track your progress, and find your way to exactly where you want to be. With Money Map from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. It all starts with yes.
Snacks. We got diapers for baby girl. Oh, 7:15, we gotta go. Bread, milk. Gas for work. Remember to grab Joe Boy a birthday present. Half a day.
Hey, Molly, how much do you pay for daycare for the kids?
Over $600 a month. It's expensive.
Did you hear about the governor's program that covers up to $675 a month for childcare?
Wow, that would be a lifesaver with the rising cost of everything.
Check GuamChildcare.com to apply. We qualified. I even booked an appointment for someone to walk me through the process.
GuamChildcare.com. Okay, thanks. I'll apply today.
This ad is paid for with federal funds administered by DPHSS.
Pacific Points is more rewarding with friends. Refer as many friends as you want. There's no limit. Referring friends is fast and easy. Simply log into your account on the app or website, then tap or click on Refer a Friend. Earn bonus points when they sign up and make a transaction. Earn 100 bonus points for every friend you refer. Pacific Points. Refer friends, get rewarded.
Hafa and welcome back to the show, everybody. We are wrapping up now, but I want to let you know, starting tomorrow at the bottom half of the hour on HotSpot, remember, we are getting you ready for everything that's happening with the election. You can see it right there on your TV screen. We're bringing you in-depth interviews with all three candidates presented right now on your screen. Vying for congressional delegate, up first is former Senator, former Speaker, Dr. Judy Wanpat. Also on Thursday, we will have Senator Talina Nelson. And then on Friday, another Senator, Jim Moylan, of course, Senator Moylan, the Republican. We encourage you to tune in and watch, consider what they have to say, and then make an informed decision when you do head to the polls. Remember, you can actually vote early if you want to go over to the Westin, available until Friday. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you today. Have a wonderful lunch. Please be safe and be good to each other. We'll see you tonight for prime time. On behalf of all of us here at KUAM, have a pleasant afternoon.